Myron Frans has led the state's accounting and budgeting agency for a decade. Next month, he's moving on to lead a similar charge at the University of Minnesota. I spoke with him this week about his legacy, his new job, and the state's fiscal future.
Governor Walz has described the position of Commissioner of Management and Budget as the Chief Financial Officer, the Chief Accounting Officer, the Comptroller, the person who helps negotiate state contracts, the person who looks at state healthcare benefits and pensions, not to mention someone who works on fiscal policy with the legislature. You've held this position for 10 years. What are you most proud of?
Well, that is such a great question because, thinking about 10 years at this reflecting point for me, I've been thinking about all these different things that have occurred over the last 10 years. One of the things that's fundamental, frankly, was the tax reform that we did in 2013. Because the tax reform, where we increased the fourth income tax tier for the top 2% of wage earners, that has been the foundation for virtually everything we've done since. Because as you remember, the decade before Governor Dayton took over, that's what we called the decade of deficits. And so we knew going into the 2011, 2012 sessions, we needed to do something about the deficits. And we felt the only way to really do that effectively was to increase the revenues. And by making them more fair, we believed with the fourth income tax tier, we started that process in 2013. And since 2013, we've had surplus after surplus after surplus. And that was the foundation for making sure that we could go forward, because you can't invest in healthcare and education and childcare and in treatment centers and roads and bridges if you don't have a fundamental budget that supports those kind of investments. So I think actually, although I'm proud of a lot of the different things we've done, that's the one that stands out to me because it was so consequential for the remainder of Governor Dayton's term and now the beginning of Governor Walz's term.
So now that the state is facing an uncertain economic future due to the coronavirus pandemic, which may decimate the rainy day fund and still leave a huge budget hole, in retrospect, was the size of that fund large enough? Now, Minnesota was touted nationally for setting aside that rainy day fund, and at one time it seemed huge. And now, considering the environment we are in, it doesn't seem so huge anymore.
When we're now the deficit we're projecting for this fiscal year is now down to 2.3 billion. So it's come down a little bit. And the actual rainy day funds come up a little bit because there were some funds from the assigned risk pool that we added, about $20 million. So we're a little over 2.377 billion now. One of the discussions about the size of the budget reserve, really, we tried to figure out what would it take to satisfy most recessions. So our goal was to have the reserve be big enough to satisfy what we thought 95% of the time would be the size of a recessionary effect. Well, we didn't plan for a pandemic and a global recession at the same time. So now we'll sharpen those pencils going forward. But the goal really was to get us through that first year or so. And because all the surplus, all the reserve really does is to give you time. And so, but if you look at it right now, the reserve more than covers the deficit right now. Now, we don't want to spend all the reserve this year because we know going forward we have future problems too. So we wish it was bigger right now, but I think in retrospect, the idea of trying to pick a reserve level that would be politically acceptable, because you point out, it seemed like a lot of money. And there were people throughout the last 4 or 5 years who wanted to give all that money back. And I think right now we're pretty happy we didn't give it back. And we have the $2.3 billion sitting in that rainy day reserve. I know that the rating agencies, that was part of their reason for restoring our AAA credit status, was looking at the rainy day fund and our budget surpluses. So we did the right thing, made the right steps. And of course, I wish there was more right now, but I think we made the right decision to get it to where we got it to.
When Governor Walz announced that you were leaving and who would replace you, he said, quote, "There's about 2 people in the state that can do this job." And he was referring to you and Jim Showalter, who will take over. How tough is the road ahead for him?
Jim Showalter, I have to confess, he's a good friend of mine and a great colleague. He helped, because I took over from MMB when he left after in Governor Dayton's term, and he was a great assist to me when I was the revenue commissioner for the first 4 years and he was the MMB commissioner. We spent a lot of time together because, as I mentioned, part of the problem with the budget was we didn't have enough money. So money, of course, means tax revenue. So we spent a lot of time working and planning. So I know Jim to be someone of high character, really smart, and knows this job. But I think that the challenge for Jim going forward and for the state going forward is to do the same thing we've done before. Remember, he was here when we had a $6.2 billion deficit. He was at the helm of MMB, and that was a point where we had to really make some tough budget calls, some revenue calls. So I think the tough road ahead is trying to come to some agreement about what are the tools we're going to use to dig out of this. Because I told the rating agencies when we met with them in July and August before our bond sale, I said the key for us is to make sure that we can convince the rest of the country and people in Minnesota that we know what are the building blocks. It's really very simple. You watch your spending, you look for new revenue sources, you look for existing revenue or funds that can be transferred, and you try to make things work as best you can while trying to maintain the service level. So the road ahead, the challenge will be to maintain service level for those people who need it the most. And that's always a difficult time in an economic downturn. It's even doubly true now with a pandemic as well. So he's got a tough road ahead of him, but he's the kind of guy, and I think he's the right person at the right time.
Finally, you are headed to the University of Minnesota. You will become the Senior Vice President of Finance and Operations. Even before the pandemic, higher education was facing significant fiscal challenges. Are you just jumping from the frying pan into the fire? How are you thinking about this change?
Well, I think a little bit, perhaps. One of the things that I'm really looking forward to is President Gable and the Board of Regents working together with the faculty and the students and the staff at the University of Minnesota. There's a lot that has to be done in order to make sure that they can deliver the kind of high quality education that the University of Minnesota has been come for. Both, it's one of the premier research facilities in the country, one of the best teaching facilities in the country, and educational facilities. So there's a lot to be proud of. And the challenge is going to be with the challenge to in-person education. How does the university maintain that draw and the attraction to keep students coming there? So I think there's a lot to work on, and I'm pretty assured that I'll be busy when I go over there to work with you. I'm looking forward to it. They've been just great to work for. I look forward to talking to the Board of Regents who have to approve my appointment, and I look forward to working with them in the next several weeks.
Commissioner Myron Frans, it's always a pleasure. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure working with you. Thank you so much.